Hello there students, welcome to Educate. In this video we'll be looking at the sources of hydronium and hydroxide ions. We want to try and determine it in a mathematical way whenever we have got strong acids or strong bases. So if we have got an aqueous solution of a strong acid, remember that whenever we make aqueous solutions of strong acids, we usually want to form our primary standard solutions. So when we have got an aqueous solution of a strong acid, we know that it is going to release some hydronium ions or the H3O plus ions the moment you dissolve it in solution. So here we are trying to say that here whenever you dissolve it, the hydronium ions do not only come from the acid, but it comes from two main sources. So there are two main sources that are responsible for producing hydronium ions whenever you dissolve an acid, a strong acid inside an aqueous solution. Okay, so the first source, it is going to be the acid. Let's just say you take hydrochloric acid and then you dissolve it in water. You know that the reaction will be HCl plus H2O, which is going to give you something like H3O plus Cl minus. So there's a proton transfer that happens between the HCl and the H2O. So this H2O, it is the water. So the water actually reacts with the strong acid, and when it reacts, it takes away its proton and then it releases some hydronium ions. So we can see that there are hydronium ions that are being produced whenever you dissolve some HCl into water. So I repeat again, there are always hydronium ions that are being produced whenever you dissolve HCl into water. So that is the first source of what? Of the hydronium ions. But we need to also know that whenever we have got water, water can auto-ionize itself. So water undergoes auto-ionizations, or you can say autoprotolysis. So whenever you have got water molecules, two water molecules, maybe H2O plus H2O, you know that there can be a proton transfer between one water molecule to the other. Okay, so one water molecule will act as a base, another one acts as an acid, and then this will give us the product of H3O plus OH minus. So this is also a reaction that also happens when water auto-ionizes itself. So we already know that here we are still producing hydronium ions as well, just from the water itself. So the water does not depend on the acid, or the water does not need the acid for it to be able to produce hydronium ions. So whenever you see a bottle of water, just know that there is an autoprotolysis reaction that is happening within the water itself. And this autoprotolysis reaction has got two products. That is going to be your H3O plus as well as your OH minus. So it always produces two ions. That is going to be your hydronium ions as well as the hydroxide ions. So you can see that whenever we dissolve the hydrochloric acid into the water, there are two main sources of the what? Of the hydronium ions. The hydronium ions are not only coming from the acid, or the hydronium ions are not only produced by the acid via this first reaction, but the water itself, the solvent that you are dissolving this HCl into, it is also auto-ionizing, and it is in turn producing the hydronium ions. So we can say that we always have two sources. So whenever I want to determine maybe the concentration of the hydronium ions, the total concentration of the hydronium ions, I'm just going to say this is the total concentration of the hydronium ions. So for the total concentration of the hydronium ions, I have to add the concentration of the hydronium ions from the acid, and the acid here in this case, it is from the HCl, and then this is going to be plus the concentration of the hydronium ions, and this time this is from the water, because the water itself, it is undergoing a autoprotolysis, or it's undergoing auto-ionization. So one thing we need to know about, remember that strong acids, they dissociate, or they ionize completely in water to be able to form a high concentration of hydronium ions. So we can just say here the concentration of the hydronium ions that is coming from the acid, this concentration of the hydronium ions that is coming from the acid, it is the same as the molar concentration of the acid itself. So if I tell you that I'm having 0.02 molar of a hydrochloric acid and then I dissolve it in water, I know that it is going to dissolve that 0.02 molar of hydrochloric acid will dissolve completely and it will form 0.02 molar of hydronium ions as well. So I can just say I can replace this hydronium ions from HCl. I can just say this is the same as the molar concentration of the HCl plus the hydronium ions from the water. So here we can just say that the total hydronium ions is going to be equals to the concentration of the HCl plus. Now when we look at here, the concentration of the hydronium ions that are coming from water's auto ionization, because this term here, remember that it is coming from water's auto ionization there. Okay, so these hydronium ions that we get from the product of water ionizing itself, these hydronium ions, they are equal to the hydroxide ions because they've got a 1:1 ratio. When you look at the ratio of these products here, the products that we have for this reaction, they've got a 1:1 ratio. So it means that whenever water auto-ionizes, it produces an equal number of moles of hydronium ions and hydroxide ions. So this means that it's the same thing as saying that whenever I talk about the concentration of hydronium ions from the water, this is the same as the concentration of the hydroxide ions from the what? From the water's autoprotolysis. Now, the great approximations that we make in analytical chemistry is that when we look at the concentration of the OH minus from the autoprotolysis, we actually know its value. The concentration of the OH minus and the concentration of the H3O plus due to autoprotolysis, we actually know its value because we know that water actually auto-ionizes at a constant rate, and that constant rate is given by Kw. Kw is a constant, and that constant is known as the auto-ionization constant of water. So whenever water is auto-ionizing, we know that it auto-ionizes at this particular constant, which is going to be 1 times 10 to the power of minus 14. And we know that for us to even find this auto-ionization constant, the auto-ionization constant here, it is just the product of the concentration, the equilibrium concentration of the hydronium ions and the hydroxide ions at equilibrium. All of these are equal to 1 times 10 to the power of minus 14. And we understand that water is actually non-acidic. It's not acidic, it's not basic, it's neutral. So its pH range is around 7. So for that to happen, we know that these two ions must be equal to one another. So it means that water has got an equal number of the hydronium ions with the what? With the hydroxide ions. They've got an equal number. So since they've got an equal number to one another as depicted by the equation, it means that we can just replace one of the concentrations with the other. So I can just say that this is the same thing as saying H3O plus concentration, or H3O plus concentration, or you can say OH minus concentration is the same thing because they are equal to one another, right? So you can just say OH minus concentration squared is equals to 1 times 10 to the power of minus 14 because they are equal to one another. You can just replace the term here. Here you can see that here, instead of writing H3O plus multiplied by OH minus, I just said H3O plus multiplied by H3O plus because we know that OH minus and H3O plus is the same thing. They're equal. So the mathematics allows us to do it this way. And when we actually solve out the value, we find out that the concentration of OH minus ions whenever we're having water at 25 degrees Celsius, that is actually equal to 1 times 10 to the power of minus 7. When you take the square root on both sides of this equation, you find that the square root here is going to give you 1 times 10 to the power of minus 7 molar. This is the molar concentration of the hydroxide ions due to auto-ionization. This value is a very small value because you can see that its order of magnitude is going to something like 1 times 10 to the power of minus 7. So you're having 7 zeros. It's like this is like 0.000000 and then 1 molar. So this is the concentration, or this is the the equilibrium concentration of the OH minus, which is still equal to the equilibrium concentration of the what? Of the H3O plus whenever you are having water at 25 degrees Celsius. So this is a very small value, and it usually tends to be significant whenever we are adding it to the other concentrations. For example, if I was to tell you that this hydrochloric acid that you are dissolving in water, its molar concentration is something like 0.02 molar. 0.02 molar, it is way much bigger compared to 0.000001 molar. Okay, so this term here, whenever we are adding the concentration, the molar concentration of the HCl, and we are adding it to the equilibrium concentration of the OH minus from the water's autoprotolysis, we can just say here the concentration, the total concentration of the H3O plus ions, we can just say it is approximately equal to the concentration of the HCl alone. So why are we neglecting this other term, or why are we not including this concentration of OH minus? It's because the concentration of OH minus, it is way smaller. It is way smaller than the concentration of the what? Of the HCl, of the molar concentration of the HCl, because here we are adding them together. Remember, whenever we are adding two terms, and if it happens that one is bigger than the other, it is very big than the other, then the smaller one, the smaller term, which is the concentration of the OH minus from the H2O, it becomes insignificant. So automatically this becomes insignificant, and we can be able to exclude it from the expression because it is very small. Okay, so in this case, I can just say I'm cancelling out, or I'm removing this from the from the expression. So basically, we say that the hydronium ions that are actually produced, their concentration at equilibrium, they are actually equivalent, or they are, let's just say, they are approximately equal to the concentration of the acid that was dissolved, the strong acid that was dissolved to make a standard solution. So here, if I'm going to tell you that I'm giving you a hydrochloric acid, and the hydrochloric acid maybe is 0.4 molar of HCl, this number, or this concentration of HCl, will be equivalent to the concentration of the H3O plus. We can just say that the concentration of the H3O plus is approximately also 0.4 molar. Because here this expression is suggesting that whenever you find the total concentration of the hydronium ions, it is approximately equal to the molar concentration of the what? Of the acid itself, because the acid is strong, so it will eventually ionize completely. So this 0.4 molar of HCl will ionize completely to form 0.4 molar of hydronium ions. So this is a great approximation that we make, and you must always make sure that you follow through the steps. These steps that I've shown you in the calculation, don't just say the concentration of the H3O plus, it is equal to the concentration of the HCl. No, you cannot just write this equation whenever you are making calculations. No, whenever you're doing calculations, you are supposed to start by saying that the total number, the total concentration of the hydronium ions is contributed by two sources. You are recognizing that we are having hydronium ions from the what? From the hydrochloric acid. And we are also having hydronium ions that are being formed by the water, according to these two reactions that I've already labeled for you first. Okay, and even if you do the same for the base, it still behaves in the similar manner. If you have got the base, which is our sodium hydroxide, in this case we have sodium hydroxide and we dissolve it in water. So remember that whenever we dissolve a sodium hydroxide in water, it is not going to react with the water to form any new product, but it dissociates. It does not ionize, it dissociates. So you take sodium hydroxide and then you dissolve it inside water. So I'm just going to write the water here above the arrow to show that there is a dissolving process that's happening. It's not like the sodium hydroxide is reacting with the water to form new products. So when sodium hydroxide now dissociates inside water, it is going to dissociate into its ions. The ions that are making up sodium hydroxide, it is sodium as well as OH ions, OH minus ions. So you already know that we're going to have a sodium ion, which is going to be Na plus, and then this is plus the hydroxide ion, which is going to be OH minus. This happens in water. And then when you look at this carefully and you try to find out the concentration of the hydroxide ions this time, because this is a base, it releases hydroxide ions. When you want to make a mathematical calculation of that, you are going to say that the concentration of the hydroxide ions, it is not only coming from the sodium hydroxide. This is not only the source, but because you are dissolving this in water, water is doing autoprotolysis. So water is undergoing auto-ionization. Okay, it is actually ionizing itself in this reaction. You can see that reaction 2, I've already shown you guys that water ionizes itself, or water reacts with itself. So according to reaction 2, where water is reacting with itself, we know that there are two products that you get, two distinct products that you get. And you can see that clearly from this diagram, from this reaction, that we have got hydronium ions as well as hydroxide ions. So the first source for the hydroxide ions in this case, it is the NaOH. So we can just say that the hydroxide ions, they are coming from the molar concentration of the sodium hydroxide, because the sodium hydroxide will dissociate completely in the water to form these these ions, these OH minus ions. Okay, and then plus we also have another source. The other source of OH minus ions, it is the water here that is doing autoprotolysis, because remember we are dissolving this base inside water. Water is already reacting with itself independent of the sodium hydroxide. So before you even start dissolving your sodium hydroxide inside water, we already know that water is already undergoing autoprotolysis, and it is already producing a significant is already producing OH minus ions. And these OH minus ions that are being produced, we already know that they are having a concentration of 0.000001 molar at what? At 25 degrees Celsius. So here this is going to be concentration of NaOH, and then this is going to be plus what? This is going to be plus the concentration of OH minus ions. So the other hydroxide ions that makes up this total, they are coming from the water's autoprotolysis or from the water's auto-ionization. So the concentration of the OH minus ions there will be equals to the concentration of the NaOH plus the concentration of the H3O plus as well, because remember that the hydroxide ions and the hydronium ions, they are equal to one another in these products. When you look carefully in this reaction 2, the concentration of the hydronium ions, these hydronium ions, is the same as the concentration of the hydroxide ions. You can just interchange them. I'm just showing you that you can just interchange them here. Okay, because they've got a molar ratio of 1:1. So whenever water is auto-ionizing, it will make 1 mole of hydronium ion, whereas it makes another 1 mole of hydroxide ions, just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So 1:1 type of scenario. So here, from here, we can now say that the concentration of the hydroxide ion and the hydronium ions, it is 0.000001 molar at room temperature. So it means when water is just auto-ionizing, it's just producing this small, insignificant number of hydronium and hydroxide ions. That is why autoprotolysis is something happening at a smaller scale. That is why the Kw is a smaller value, because it's in the order of magnitude around 10 to the power of minus 14. Okay, so we can just say that this concentration of the hydronium ions, the concentration of the H3O plus ions, it is completely insignificant when you compare it to the actual concentration of the sodium hydroxide, because usually whenever you get questions, the molar concentration of the sodium hydroxide is going to be somewhere around 0.2, 0.02, 0.002, and that is going to be a very big number compared to what, to this concentration that we're having of 0.000001 molar, which is the one that is coming from autoprotolysis, or that is coming from the auto-ionization of water. So this becomes insignificant from the term, and then we can now say the concentration, the equilibrium concentration, the total equilibrium molar concentration that we have from this whole thing, it is approximately, so this is going to be approximately the concentration of the sodium hydroxide. So this is just trying to say that if we know the concentration of the sodium hydroxide, the base that is releasing these OH minus ions, then we also know the OH minus ions that are being released, because these OH minus ions, they are all coming from the what? From the sodium hydroxide. Since the ones that are coming from water, they are not so significant. We cannot be able to count them like as reliable ones as well. So thank you so much for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends to also stay tuned.